The biggest question that most people have about foundation repair is the cost. And a lot of times online, it's hard to find, anybody actually being transparent about cost. So we're going to talk about this with Austin today, and he's going to break down some of the factors as well as some small, medium, and large kind of examples. So here we are. Austin, how's it going?
Pretty great.
Always pretty great, huh?
Always pretty great. Never bad, always pretty great.
Sounds good. Why, Austin, is the cost question so hard for contractors to even answer? Like, a lot of places just don't even want to talk about it on their website or whatever.
Well, one of the main reasons is foundation repair isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. It's all based on scope of work and what each house specifically needs. Every house is going to be unique in the foundation repair world. It's not going to be every house needs a corner, every house needs this. Every single house is going to be different.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I think a lot of people feel like they can't put anything together because it is so unique to each individual home, the whole situation, the land, the lot, the floor plan, where it's settled, the size of the home in general, and all that stuff. What we really want to do is just be very upfront and talk about specific job sizes. So let's first just talk about what's considered a small job, and let's describe that and talk about how much that would be.
Okay. Yeah, for a small job, you're talking something typically maybe just like doing a corner of a house, roughly about maybe 6 to 10 piers. And something like that's going to run about 9 to 12K roughly.
Okay, so on this diagram here, you've got where it's just kind of going around one corner of the home, and it's just kind of wrapping that corner that has settled.
Yep. And this one's 7 piers, so.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry, my leg itches. All right, so that's kind of a smallish. So then what about a medium, what would be considered sort of middle of the road type of project for us?
Yeah. So a medium type repair, we're going to be getting up there close to about half of the home now. Something like this, we're talking maybe about 15 to 25 supports, somewhere in there. And something like that's going to cost about 15 to 22,000.
Okay, so here on this diagram, you've got kind of all exterior perimeter piers, and it's kind of wrapping around the back of the house.
Yeah.
But it's not anywhere it's not the whole home.
Not the whole thing.
Kind of
Just
the back half.
About half. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay, so something like that. Medium, you said 15 to 22?
15 to 22.
Okay. And so what about something that's just pretty extensive? What's the big jobs that maybe are covering
This is not every house that we end up repairing. This is maybe about 1 to 10 of them. I almost don't even want to tell you because this may scare some people, but we're talking something that's above 50,000, just starting. Sometimes, on the rare occasion, depending on size of the home and whatnot, possibly even over 100.
Right. So what does that look like, visually in a repair plan?
Visually, we're talking about full perimeter of the house is being done, and most likely going to be full interior piers as well.
Okay, so this is adding supports all the way around the outside and also under the middle of the home, because the entire home has settled all the way around. So yeah, that looks pretty extensive, and the price reflects that. Okay, so we've talked about small, medium, large, but what's typical? What's most average, you would say, for this area? What do we usually end up doing? What do most people end up paying?
So most homeowners are going to end up needing somewhere between 17 and 30 supports, and something like that's going to cost about 17 to 30K around that area.
Okay, so most people who come to us are paying somewhere, and this is for slab foundation repair, by the way. We haven't really mentioned that before. It was kind of implied, but you know what I mean. Anyway.
I am the slab estimator.
I know, right? So, but most people are paying kind of $17,000 to $30,000. It's still a big chunk of money, but I feel like people have to keep that in perspective.
For sure.
What's the, let's talk about this work that's really being done here.
Yeah, I would say probably roughly 80% of folks are somewhere in that
Are
range.
somewhere in there. Okay. And it is a lot of money, but I think the thing that you have to keep in mind is that, they are coming to your home and they are lifting up your entire home from underneath it. And they are, not going to damage all of the stuff inside your home. So they're like lifting an already built existing home out of the ground. And so I feel like you should expect that to be a little on the pricey side.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't know what else I have to say about that, but that sounds pretty clear to me. But basically, most people are ending up paying something like that.
Yes.
So let's just talk a little bit about factors. Like, what are the cost factors? Like, what makes the price go up or down for, most companies?
The absolute number one driver is purely just the number of piers going in. That's going to be the absolute, depending on how many piers we got to do, that's going to drive that cost either way up there, or maybe it's not going to be too much depending on how many piers we have to do. And then just the extent of the damage. How much of the home is affected by this settlement? If we're talking half the house, that's half the house that needs piers. If it's the full thing, then we're talking about that extensive type job. Not as common, but the next one is going to be accessibility. If you have a difficult to reach foundation, you got a lot of concrete surfaces or maybe a porch, something that's in the way, just difficult for us to get to, that can also be a little bit of the driver of how much this costs. And then lastly, it's just that contractor pricing. All contractors are going to have different pricing, different mindsets, different methods, which can all affect the pricing.
You said that the piers or the number of supports kind of contribute the most to the cost. And that's really because when contractors are setting up their pricing, they're charging per pier or per support.
Yes.
So the more you have, obviously, the higher the price is going to be. We do know that people often get multiple quotes, and a lot of times, they're really different. So can you talk a little bit about if somebody gets something from us and gets something from another contractor, why would they be so different in cost as well as, other things?
Yeah, so definitely a lot of confusion can start to come in of why are prices so vastly different. And it's not that one is necessarily absolute right, one's absolutely wrong. Everyone just has a different way of repairing the foundation. Above all, different companies, different ways of repair. So the better question is, why is the price different? It's what are you getting from each repair? What is each contractor offering you as the homeowner?
Okay. So it's just important for them to understand that it's not always just the cost. There are other things that go into it.
Oh yeah.
What's being offered.
Warranties,
Yeah.
all those other things.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is to just not overlook the method. Different methods take different types of materials, different amounts of time. And so a lot of that plays into it too. Not every foundation repair is the same.
No.
They're not doing the same thing to your home.
If it was all one size fits all, my job would be really easy.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So what's really the big takeaway here? What do we want people to really walk away with knowing and understanding about the cost for foundation repair?
Really, we just want everyone to understand that you deserve a real number, not something that's vague, that maybe you get change ordered out the wazoo. You deserve something that's real and that's precise. Foundation repair is a major home system. Expect this to be something that is pricey, that is expensive. This isn't like getting some drywall patched where maybe it's a couple $100. This is your home's foundation. It's literally what your home is built on. It's a major piece.
Right. Yeah. I feel like sometimes people think that they don't get that there are people that are going to come and literally lift up your house.
Yeah.
Without messing it up on the inside, for the most part. It's a lot. In conclusion, basically, people need to understand that ultimately the cost is going to include the number of supports that are needed. You got to factor in the amount of damage and in some cases the accessibility.
Yep.
But in general, people are paying for anchor foundation repair on average $17,000 to $30,000 for a kind of typical repair. So we are going to put a link in the description that kind of goes into a little more detail than we can do in this video to give you an idea of how much foundation repair costs in the Brazos Valley. So check it out.